Good morning everybody and welcome back to the channel. Now this video isn't going to be everybody's cup of tea that subscribes to my channel, but I think it's a really cool place, and obviously I'm not going to show everything in great detail because there's so many here, but we're at Bovington Tank Museum. I'll put a map in now of exactly where we are.
Today we're going to be filming a tank museum.
And this is the entrance out the front.
What?
It's like a old control tower there or something. I have been here before, but I didn't film it for obvious reasons. I wasn't doing YouTube then, and just outside the front there's a memorial to the Household Cavalry and Royal Armoured Corps who have died on operation since 1945. And it lists their names, their ranks, and where they died. For example, Palestine, Egypt, Malaya, Korea, Cyprus, South Arabia, Jordan, Congo, Northern Ireland, Saudi Arabia, Bosnia, Kosovo, Afghanistan, and finally on the end there, Iraq. And just across the way from this, it looks like there's another memorial which I'll take you across and show you as well. So a bit of history on this sign if you want to pause it, about the army comes to Bovington. There's a few of these signs around. This one says Bovington today. Which is obviously still a training ground. There's actually signs on the way in here saying you are entering MOD property. Second World War. Of course, if you want to read these, you can pause it and zoom in. And then there's one over here that says the interwar years. And then this is the other memorial, which says the Royal Tank Regiment Memorial Statue. They made it of fiberglass. And you can probably hear in the background there's a tank ride going on which you can pay £5 for at the moment, which I think might just be because it's the school holidays, and they take you around this little track in a people carrier thing. Okay, so there's the main entrance. Let's go and take you around. What a thing to have right outside your front door. And of course, like I said, there's going to be around 300 tanks and army vehicles inside. I'm not going to show you each one unless they particularly appeal to me, but I will walk you around and show you what's inside. And this is the entrance hall. And here we go, that's the purpose of this museum. So you turn your first corner, and this is what you met with.
You say you're who've got good experience with motor cars and mechanical things. Well, they're exactly the type of skills we're looking for.
So this is the recruitment centre, and the shadows I showed you on the wall is to depict that it doesn't matter who you are or where you come from, you can join the army.
I don't know. What does it say? What does it say? I think if you're within the reds or the whites, I don't know.
That's a bit of an old typewriter there, isn't it?
A new unit has been set up where technical knowledge will be very important.
George, here are some seats. That was quite a send-off we had. I didn't expect so much attention. No, nor I. How's the boy who marched alongside us? Nicky Gold. I've known him a long time. Yes, it was lovely to see him. Reminds me how many people I'll miss when it's gone. Oh, really imagine.
It's like an old wartime street. That flickering light definitely wouldn't be allowed. Into the trenches.
Might be noisy in here. This one you think?
Ready to go up and over. Can't imagine being in here, being shot at, bullets, bombs going overhead, wet, damp, full of rats. Looks like we found HQ. Of course, right behind
Hello,
you.
this is Captain Teasdale at Ginche. It's about this hush-hush business. I've had...
And of course, some men got scared. Squalid conditions to live in, isn't there? A couple of bunks. And there's the old World War I tank coming over the trench. And the men trying to avoid it. That's a big one, isn't it? Looks like some kind of cannon. A motorbike with a machine gun on the sidecar. That's just barbaric, isn't it? And there's the front of that cannon. And you can see it's got a rifle bore on it. So obviously, as you can tell, these are all the oldest tanks. And this is the inside of one of these tanks, and the engine takes up more than half of the space inside. Of course, there's the back of the gun by there. I'll actually get inside this tank, so I'll take a little peek now, if I can fit. And there's the tank engine in the front side, I think that is, right behind the driver. You may not be able to see that. I'll put the torch on now and see if you can see properly. You can see a bit better now. There are these bits dotted around as well, telling you about actual people and actual artifacts of theirs. This is going to be quite a long video, I imagine. Apparently these are trench art made out of battlefield debris. See, look, custom made, never mind out of battlefield debris. Well, that's impressive. And of course, some people have a teddy they keep for life, but soldiers apparently used to carry these sorts of things around with them to keep them comfort. Just imagine turning a corner and seeing that come towards you, and having very little defence back when the first tanks came out. Obviously, like normal, I'm not going to show you all this writing because I'll be here for a business week. But it's all about the role of horses during the First and Second World War. And they've actually cut half of this tank away so kids can go inside and play around with stuff. On the other side, if there's no kids around there, I will show you.
So this is a tunnel.
With the light so she can film it. One on the other end.
This is a tunnel, and it takes us over to here, which is this little house.
Come on then.
I think we're going slightly more modern with that tank. A light tank. It's a very light tank, isn't it? Actual letters that were sent to loved ones during the war. Isn't this just incredible? In the corner, just as you walk in this section, we've got a little film going on about World War II. But you know the score, I can't be breaking copyright. Look at that. It's like a normal car, they stuck armoured plating over and stuck a gun on top. And that's the same kind of thing again. A car they've just stuck plating on top of. And this truck, it looks like a concrete truck. It's absolutely solid and it looks rough and ready, just like concrete. As you can see, let's see if you can hear. I think it's fairly safe to say we've got far better at building tanks than we ever used to be. We all know what an Anderson shelter used to look like. No thank you. And here's just a mock house of the time. Which looks like it goes through into a shop. Not much on the shelves, is there? Oh, looks like a telephone exchange. Can I have a tin of baked beans, please?
Where's your stamps?
Oh no.
No, don't sit on that. It's not me, it will all fall down.
There's an alarm somewhere. There's an alarm somewhere, right? There's an alarm somewhere.
So we're getting bigger.
The other side.
So there are footsteps on the floor telling you which way to walk, which takes you through time, obviously in the right direction. Wow. It's a tiny one. A Caro L3. Well, look how big the bloke would have been in there driving it. Slightly exposed. Churchill number 2, or Churchill the 2nd, I'm not sure how you'd say it. And as you do work your way around, on the ceilings it tells you where the tanks would have served. So that one is at the Epi raid. That's a Rhino Evie. Look at that. I think that's depicting how a tank would have been before it was dropped out of an aircraft, because there's a bit of a canopy on top. Yes, it would have been in a specific aeroplane. And this would have been a bridge building tank. There's actually little buttons that you can press, and it shows you how the tanks would have operated. A Centaur AA turret. So it's a turret of a certain type of tank. And you can see inside, but unfortunately my light will just bounce off the screen and you'll just see a white halo. That's a mortar. A petard mortar, £40, 18 kilogram. And for scale, it's my hand. Normandy. Just look at the size on that. Of course it has to be German, because for Hitler bigger was always better. This is the Tiger II. Sort of a tiny scout car my father never drove. Humber scout car. Another German one. This one's even bigger than the Tiger II.
In most cases, we have a bigger
M10 Achilles. Oh, I think this might be American. It's called the M4A4 Sherman. It definitely is American. Morris Light. M5A1 Stuart. And another armoured car. An AEC armoured car. That's an armoured car. It's on a scale of a tank. So there's one of those tanks that we saw modelled.
That's one of these on you.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is a visitor announcement. Please put a Shelley Blackfoot, that is a Shelley Blackfoot, please come to the main admission steps. Thank you.
And this is on top of that massive tank. An M29C Weasel. That's a brilliant name for that. And they've got another indoor memorial as well by here. And here's some of the tank barrels. So they just made an announcement over the tannoys that there's going to be a bit of a tank display. So we've paused filming inside and come out to film that. And we'll resume the rest of the tanks afterwards. So this is the arena that's out in front of me. When they start, I'll try and zoom it in a bit so you're also not far away on the GoPro.
That's a fast support vehicle. The square boxy vehicle following that, that's FV432, not very loud, I'm afraid. Armoured personnel carrier. And then finally, we have a tank. We've got Sheepton Mark 10. Now, I'm not going to try and commentate these things past me, because they are very loud indeed. But they will park up, and then I'll come back one at a time, and I'll tell you about it. That's a big difference in Bovington Tank Museum. They are big, they are loud, they are noisy. The chief of the assembly, he fills the ground, shakes that lot. That's about 60 tons of air. This which is pull up in front of me now is called Scimitar. Scimitar is part of British Army's CBRT. What that means is Combat Vehicle Reconnaissance Track. And there are quite a few variants on this. This is Scimitar. There is Scorpion. Did anyone ever have an Action Man tank as a youngster? I did. That's modelled on the Scorpion. There's an armoured ambulance, which is called Samaritan. There's another one troop carrier called Spartan. So it's a versatile vehicle. What's special about it? Right, to start off with, it's very light. Only weighs about 8 tons. So it's air portable, which is good. It means you can get it where you need it. And the other thing is, it is really rather quick. This is a tracked vehicle that can do about 60 miles an hour on the road. That's quite remarkable. Reason for it is it's actually got an E-type Jaguar engine, the early ones did, so it's a very, very fast vehicle indeed. What it's all about is reconnaissance, recce, going to have a look. Now, these days we do a lot of that sort of stuff with drones, UAVs, and even satellite. Back in the day, it was a question of actually sending a vehicle to find out what the enemy is up to. The whole idea here is go take a look, radio the information back, what the enemy's doing, how many, where they're going, what they intend to do, but don't get shot at. This vehicle, the reason it's so light is that armour is aluminium. Keep out small arms fire, so rifle, machine gun, things like that, but it will not stop a tank round. So being light, being relatively quiet, and being very quick indeed is a big advantage. It has got a turret with a 30mm Radon cannon in, so it can punch back if it needs to, but the whole idea is, with this one, if you're in a recce vehicle, you've got rounds tanking off the outside, you're actually doing something pretty wrong and you better get out of that. Crew of 3, you can see them, if they like to give you a wave. You've got the driver in the front, and then the commander and the gunner in the turret. So that is Scimitar, CVRT. It's a very, very good vehicle in the British Army, in service for quite a number of years, including Iraq and Afghanistan, where we had to put extra armour on it. Cracking little vehicle, as I said. Fast little reconnaissance vehicle. Now, are there any Canadians in the audience? Wave if you're a Canadian. Yes, you sir, excellent. This is Cougar. This is ex-Canadian Army, and it's made by a Swiss company called MAG, but this is effectively a fire support vehicle. Again, it's very versatile. They produce these in 4-wheeler, 6-wheeler, 8-wheeler, and can do everything from fire support. It's got a turret with a 76mm gun in, so it can fire high explosive, it can fire HESH, it can fire smoke rounds, and it can do anything from patrolling, reconnaissance, through to fire support for infantry, which is what this type is intended for. And the bigger version, the 8-wheeler, these are all-wheel drive, all these, so you've got 4, 6 or 8-wheel drive. The bigger version was also a troop carrier. There's room for a couple of infantrymen in the back of this one. So Cougar was very successful. It was in service for a good many years, and quite a lot of work sold on. Now, in terms of reconnaissance, this is actually a pretty good bet as well. Tracked vehicles are fine, but if you remember I said, with reconnaissance, you don't want to get shot at, you don't want to get noticed. Wheeled vehicles, and this one is all-wheel drive, so you can go more or less anywhere the tracked vehicle can. Wheeled vehicles are a bit quieter. So in reconnaissance terms, this has actually got a bit of an advantage. It's also boat-shaped, and so it's, I'd say, semi-amphibious. It's reasonably good at wading rivers. Just if you plop into a river, don't necessarily expect to emerge on the opposite bank exactly where you were hoping to go. So that is Cougar. That is Canadian, effectively sort of general purpose here. Those guys see the idea of death. They had at least 20 minutes of training, and they're going to play part in that different spot. The whole thing about they can see on the first one go these things is designed to get them where they need to be. Because tanks and infantry need to operate together. If, as the doing very recent demonstration, tanks on the road, the infantry will have aircrafts and not tanks. You need unearned red beret, really old card. He's got a suit, but find out. Same holds the Bovington Tank Museum before, but it's got a turret between 35mm early from cannon. And those can fire 18 rounds a second. Huge amount. Designed as an anti-aircraft vehicle, it can knock down an aeroplane up to about 4 kilometres away. And it's radar guided computer control. So it can track an aircraft from about 10 kilometres and it can knock it down very effectively up to 4 kilometres away. Those 35mm cannons are going to be pretty deadly on ground targets as well. That is a very powerful weapon. I don't know where they got it, but I think the rotations are going to give us some problems. Now that rotating distance seems to have fucked up the coaster, stick his flag up by his position. We're going to have to do something about this. We can't have these creatures rolling around. We're going to have to send our forces in to sort them out. Our rotating tank commander is playing it safe, so he is what they call pulled down. He's pulled in behind that Bovington and he's aiming his arm looking for a crack at some of our vehicle. We've sent our recce vehicles here. So we have got Scimitar and we've got Cougar coming forward. Now the commander of Scimitar is ready to make course. Right, he's fired and he's scored a hit on the Cougar. That could be bad. 35 round on that is bad news. 10 off. Our infantry are deployed. You can see we are dropping some mortar rounds, dropping some smoke here. So, the infantry are going to come forward, but what we really need is our chief and a battle tank to come and sort that mark out. Quite a few rounds coming in, smoke screen, so our guys can advance behind us. Chieftain coming round, skirting the smoke, wanting a shot at the master. Chieftain's angling for a shot. And it's a hit. Direct hit on the marksman turret. 120mm round that distance, that would have caused a lot of damage. And it looks like the marksman is on fire, lots of smoke coming out. Now our infantry are coming forward in the smoke. You look over that side of the arena, they're coming through to mop up what remains. The Ruritanian infantry firing back, got a heavy machine gun from somewhere. Our infantry are going to have to take him out. They're going to come forward. They are going to do what we call fire move. This we call pepper potting in the old days. So one fire team moves forward, the other provides covering fire. When they're close enough, they will rush the enemy position. They're closing in. I think they're going to charge fairly shortly.
moving in behind the smoke. This is good tactics, ladies and gents. Right, they're close enough. I think they can rush that position from there. Yes, in they go. And that Ruritanian's got his hands up. Not a lot of fight there at all. I think he's very wise. I think Bovington Rifle volunteers will be more than enough for it. They've captured, they've got his hands in the air. And the next thing to do is to do something about that horrible flag. Scimitar is coming around to provide cover, and the FD432 will pick up the infantry when they finish doing their job. Nice to have a battle taxi, you don't have to walk anywhere. The Union Jack has gone up, the Ruritanian flag is being trampled in the dust. Ladies and gentlemen, you all sleep safely in your beds. Hurrah! 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 And marching their prisoner off into the 432, and then they will move it off the battlefield. Once you've taken POW, you do have to look after. Right, ladies and gents, we seem to have a minor forest fire here.
Right next to the arena, upstairs, is a lovely little cafe.
Why not?
Perfect place to have a drink after watching the show. So that arena was out there, and it gives you a lovely overview of this hall up here. But we're yet to film that, so let's work our way back to where we were before we were interrupted. So now we're in another section where they've got a little bit of a cafe, a Ukraine exhibition over by there by the looks. To my right hand side there's a soft play centre, and there's a couple more tanks down by here too. So there's a Conqueror tank. Well, these are pretty big tanks actually. This is a Chieftain tank. Look how wide it is. You can actually go and look up on top of that, so I'll go back to that now. Here's a Challenger tank. I think that might be their most modern main battle tank of the British Army. Centurion tank. And a tortoise tank. A bit of a bookshop by here too, where you can buy themed books, shall we call it. But right now, into the Ukraine Museum bit.
The invasion of Ukraine by Nazi Germany in 1941 led to an occupation which resulted in further devastation and death. 1 million Ukrainian Jews were killed in the Holocaust, and estimates put the total loss of Ukrainian life in the war at between 5 and 7 million. The defeat of the Nazi regime in 1945 would not lead to independence for Ukraine. Russia is set. It was in 1991 with the resignation of President Mikhail Gorbachev.
I don't know where they got this stuff from, whether they're just mocks or actual pieces from Ukraine. And there's a film up there where they're telling their stories.
Звісно, на машину вчиняли такі.
An M113. I think you can get in the back of this one. Driver's seat up by there. Extremely cramped. That's a bad boy. Looks homemade. And that's the sort of size I fly. Looks like another homemade jobby. And of course, there are lots of casualties. And this is the Challenger 2. Now, I wasn't aware they had this sort of hardware over there. You wouldn't have much of an idea if that was hidden in the middle of the woods, would you? I mean, that cage on top isn't ordinarily there. I don't know why that's there. And that's the end of the Ukraine exhibit. I'm guessing that's some of the military base outside. Probably shouldn't be filming that. But this is on top of those tanks. This is on top of the Chieftain tank. And you can see the soft play over there in the background. It's actually a good place to show you. Not so close as to get the kiddies on. Most time here, try and show you a bit at the top of the others. Well, I can't get any closer. And this little section just outside the cafe, they've got a little bit where they've got all these plaques with the men and their stories. Over there as well, and they've got a film up on the wall. Show this one properly because this is the type my father drove. I know I showed you in a different video, but this one's in proper good nick, and I think all the vehicles in this museum are actually working. They keep them in full working order, I believe. Any memories here, Dad? These little periscopes to see out of. Looks almost like a toy, that one, doesn't it? Please don't shoot, don't shoot. You gonna?
Yeah.
That's not very nice. It's a very fun little section. Obviously it must have featured in some kind of comic. They've got a World of Tanks stage in here as well, so I don't know if they hold talks or exhibitions or competitions, I'm not sure. Now this bit is pretty cool. They've cut a Centurion tank in half, so you can actually see what's in the tank.
Lui sta guardando invece di quel scopo, ma ci sono 4 le 8 comunque, le 8. E lì da un po' no, bro, ma la stiva era davanti. Sì. Ah, è vero. La stiva, cioè questa è la stiva più davanti. Sai che avevano tipo le ultime davanti, la stiva più qua. Tu sulla stava, dovevamo andarci prima quando non c'era nessuno.
So now we're on our way down into that hall I gave you a bird's eye of earlier, and I think this is the last bit in the main museum. And then there is another building with another 120 tanks that you can go and look inside. And those are tanks that are exactly the same as the ones in this museum, but those are the ones that aren't currently on display. And there's actually one on a turntable called Little Willie from 1915. Of course, there's lots of writing up on the walls, but I won't show you all that. It's like I say, I don't have enough time to put it on a video. There's even signs on these tanks that tell you how much fuel each tank has in its tanks. Tanks in its tanks. I think my car's bigger than that one. The Liberty engine, and from what I've seen today, that's a relatively small one. That looks complicated. The gearbox. Panther tank. We did see a little model of this one earlier, of how it went up and down. Oh, there is a little window cut into it so you can kind of take a look. Flamethrower. Panzer III. I'm guessing that's the original Tiger tank because it's just called the Tiger. I think we've all seen these in the films. The Matilda. I don't know if this one's missing its turret. It certainly looks like, oh no, there's the turret on the front, small one. As you can tell, there's so much to see. I can't give you detailed walk-arounds of these tanks even. Get into some more of the big boys now. Just look at that. And some more barrels. Jeez, look at that middle one there, ready. So they're big barrels. Chieftain tank gearbox apparently, and a suspension unit, so I'm guessing that's the gearbox and that's the suspension. You could spend a day in here easily, all day.
So yeah, our model.
And as you can tell from me walking around, I don't recall even seeing one barrier to stop you getting up close to these tanks and touching them. Brilliant place to come if you're a military enthusiast, a tank enthusiast, or just want to learn about history. Let's crack on and see what else is here. How does anyone even fit in there? Ever seen one painted in white, Dad? Oh, so that's how it would look for a driver, I'm guessing. We've already seen that one by there.
But you can now see others, including things like autonomy, adaptability, and connectivity. The tank has consistently been threatened by new weapon systems. Most recently, a chopper tank.
And on this screen by here,
This has led
they tell you about how tanks are now modernising.
However, in conflicts such as Ukraine, we can still see the tank.
So this is the gift shop, and as you can tell, it's all military themed. Model tanks, model soldiers, and if I hold you up, it's a fairly big shop. They even got a load of clothing, which is obviously all themed, even down to the real bullets, obviously just cartridges. This has got to be the best gift shop I think I've ever seen in any place I've ever visited. It's all themed and it's a fair size actually. That vehicle I just showed you is the one you can pay an extra £5 and go for a little drive on. So we're in the car park and the arena is directly behind me, and this is the Vehicle Conservation Centre, and this is where they store 120 vehicles that are in the same condition as the rest of the vehicles, I believe, but these are the ones that they just haven't got space to display. I believe this is how it looks inside the conservation centre. They're all tightly, neatly parked. Sadly for me, like I did say, it's shut. I don't think it opens all day long. I think it's literally just for an hour a day. Hey ho, I think we've seen enough tanks for today anyway. So there we go guys, that was the Tank Museum, better known as Bovington Tank Museum. Absolutely brilliant. Now just across the way from the Tank Museum there's something called the Vehicle Conservation Centre, and there's another 120 vehicles over there. But I think it's only open for an hour a day, and I think it's probably closed now. But if it's open, I'll go in there for you. If not, obviously I can't. But please like, comment and subscribe. And please let me know what you thought of this down below. I know it might have been a fairly long one and fairly boring for some of you, but I thoroughly enjoyed that. Bye bye for now.
Like and subscribe. See you on the next one. Bye bye for now.